now I'm supposed to demo Solid. Okay, that's of course ridiculously impossible to demo the vision of Solid, because the vision of Solid is that anything and everything can be on Solid. Any app you write can store data and will store data on Solid. Any app that you use will ask you which Solid platform to store the data on. And so that means that the Solid World ecosystem should include everything. So I'm not going to show you everything because we haven't even finished everything. But I've been using this for several years. Like, I've been doing taxis, my taxis with this stuff for like more than a decade. I've got a lot of, I've been using it personally, but and a lot of the stuff actually is pretty personal. Like, for example, the Office of Trimble is a sort of group of people that share things like contacts, but also all kinds of tracking things, my to-do list. Sorry, I'm not going to show you those things. I've got because so we've always had trouble demonstrating this thing, but I can maybe I've got a group of Solid people who have been involved in Solid at some point, so we can look at the. So this is one piece of Solid software. It's David Sheets, the early RDF person, student at MIT. This is basically a clone of the Mac contacts book. It just looks like it's designed for people who want to have something like the Mac contacts book, except it stores the stuff in Solid. What's nice about it is when you use it, so if you store stuff in Solid, then you've got some groups and you've got some people, and groups and people are really important for other applications. So a typical thing that another application wants to do is going to organize a meeting. You're going to have a vote, whatever it is. It'll often be organized around a group of people. So the context is kind of is important. Both information flows both ways. So the standard format for storing contacts in a Solid server is important, because I may want to take a group and then build something on it, or I might go through something like when we do the demo and the workshop, when everybody will go and join a chat, and everybody will join a chat. As they join a chat, the people who join a chat will be logged as members of the chat. And we can then use that, pull those people out of that application to form another group. And so we can then use that group then to produce a piece of Solid space which has got access control. So there's a bunch of, so this is a sort of, these are made up of things called panes in this particular homebrew sort of stack that we use. And there's panes for dealing with all kinds of types. I've just shown you one for dealing with people. There's the way this particular UI stack works. You've got different ways. You can click on different ways of looking at people. You can sort of look at the raw data of this book, or you can look at it as in a normal way. Let me show you other things. So the things that you can go and look at on my server are in a space I call public, and I dump random things in there. Because it stores everything, you will see Solid apps which present you to data as trees, as tables, as graphs, as all kinds of things. In this case, if you have a Mac box or a Unix box and you fire up a Node Solid server, which is what we're talking about in the workshop, then what it gives you, you point it at a directory of things which may or may not have files in already, and just say, go and use this data. It's very much like running Apache, and so so by default you end up with a space, and you end up with a public folder, so you put things in it. I put things in this, you can see over the years. What have I put in it recently? I can navigate down through these things. I must have had a meeting in Oxford. Ooh, let's put some, if I want to put things in, I can add things to the directory by pressing on the magic green plus. This is not just a file manager. So what I've got, there's a default piece of software which is loaded into your browser when you hit a Solid server, called the data browser. In the future, people will be using lots and lots of different sorts of specific software, like they will be using a calendar for managing their data, and they will be using contacts, and they will be maybe using things which integrate all the chat streams that they're from all kinds of different types of chat, and try to keep them up to date with all of that together. So there may be very specific things, and those will hit the Solid server a bit like a calendar hits the CalDAV server. They'll pull the data. But in this case, I'm just going into my Solid space with a browser. So what happens is the browser is immediately given a little HTML file, which gives it a JavaScript file, which then means that it gives it the ability to handle, to look at data. So it gives it the ability to go down through files and folders, create new things, and not just files and folders. I could create a new folder here. Maybe I will. And oop. All right, you see, there's bugs. So let me I'll refresh it. This slow. I'm sitting on somebody's. Okay. So maybe let me try doing that again. Let me try. Oops. Let me try. I can also add a meeting. What do you call this thing? The DWeb. DWeb. All right, that seems to be.
Maybe show an existing meeting, would that be possible? Maybe show one of the meetings we already have?
Yes.
That might be
so like, maybe the meeting, here's a couple of meetings we had in Oxford. Don't know, right, so don't know why we got some sort of authentication problem. So this is, this organization meeting is just something which I made because I was frustrated that it didn't already exist, a bit like the web. I'd gone to too many board meetings and team meetings where when you arrive, they say, oh, didn't you read the materials? They were on GitHub. No, they weren't. They were on Dropbox. Well, some of them in Dropbox and some of them in email. And so I wanted to say, look, if you want to invite me to a meeting, this is a meet you later. This is the thing which you can deal with. The meet you later is just a matter of JavaScript, which uses a solid space and uses a solid state to organize a meeting. So you can organize details of the meeting. You can drag and drop objects into it. You can also create a. This is a shared note space. If you were watching this at the same time, it's actually a synchronized shared note space. The spirit of the solid project really is very much about collaboration. It's very much about people working together. So we're not pursuing as number one goal being able to do what has to happen when Justin Bieber tweets. We'll leave that to for a long time. However, when you have a group of people like this who want to get something done, then I want you to be able to manage groups like this very well, allow people to collaborate. And so a lot of the widgets, this bit of the app is based on, for example, automatically, whenever it opens the place where the solid resource where the data is, it also opens a WebSocket to it and tracks whether it changes. So if two people are using the same notepad, then the changes will track. Similarly, we have a chat app where the core solid library technology. I could add one to this. Maybe if I don't have don't get authentication problems. I can add various tools to this meeting. Just like I can add. There's a different set of tools that I can add I can add a chat to this if it lets me. And then, so when I'm in the chat, then that actually works the same way. It's just a data file which has got it's got, how much time have we got?
Just a couple minutes left.
Okay.
Would you like to show more or take a question or three?
If we have
5 minutes, I believe.
If we've got 5 minutes total, I think I'll go to questions. I think so. You've seen some things which were written in using solid. They were all written with using the same sort of style. They were written generally with a collaborative sort of spirit. There are lots of people have written all kinds of other things using other apps. These are some of the things that we'll try to give by default for anybody who installs the basic server straight off. But now I think I'm much more interested in questions.